Hey guys, welcome back to Team Death Slinger. My name is Peter, and today I want to talk about ChaosGallantmon. This is a deck I play a lot, and in BT22 we didn't get any cards that offer support for this deck, but with how many different ways I've covered to actually play this deck and a lot of the different strategies available, I wanted to show you how I'm playing the deck in BT22, show you some of the combos, and I gotta honestly say this is probably my favorite way to play this deck at the moment. I think it really leans into what BT5 ChaosGallantmon is good at. We're not going to be going the Gigimon route. We're not going mill. We're just going to lean in on the ability to recur level 3s and do things with it and pivot into some control pieces. So we'll talk about the cards, and then I'll show you some basic setup and basic combos because I really like this deck, and I want to show you guys what it's all about. So starting with our eggs, 4 copies of BT5 Gigimon. This egg is really important to this deck. We are not running the promo Gigimon. Your turn, once per turn, when one of your other Digimon is deleted, you get a 2k DP bonus. This is going to come in clutch because we are kind of playing around the potential to come in for 4 checks in one turn with ChaosGallantmon. We are trying to control the board and pave a clear path for ChaosGallantmon to get in. That 2k DP bonus makes our swing at 14k very safe, and it's also going to come in clutch for some of our other level 6s that we'll talk about when we get there. We're going to run the 2 copies of BT5 Guilmon, just a classic combo with BT5 ChaosGallantmon. Being able to delete it to gain a memory is really strong. Being able to unsuspend with, you can see the Cerberusmon down there, but the Cerberus X-Antibody allows us to delete this, gain a memory. The Growlmon from EX3 is also going to let us delete this and gain a memory for our troubles. So it's just a nice synergy piece for our plan. We're going to run 4 copies of the BT21 Guilmon on play by trashing 1 card with Guilmon, Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Gigimon in its name, or the hero trait from your hand to draw 2. Also has an inheritable that says on deletion, gain 1 memory. This is one of the primary level 3s we're looking to float back almost in all situations, unless you're in some very specific circumstance. But this is going to let us pitch cards, draw cards. We're going to gain memory off of our plays. You can see the Agunimons down there. This is going to get us some memory back on AncientGreymon plays. So it's a very versatile piece, and we're almost always looking to get this set up in trash so that we can be playing it back with our Cerberusmon effects. We are going to run the 4 copies of Guilmon X-Antibody on play when Digivolving reveal top 3. Add a card with Growlmon Gallantmon in its name, or one X-Antibody among them to the hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck, and our inheritable here is what really shines. When any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, gain a memory. Something to keep in mind with this, with that on play when Digivolving, is that you do whiff your entire level 5 pool. So you want to make sure that you're not playing this when you're searching for a level 5. You need to have that level 5 in hand so that you can find your level 4s and your level 6s. But otherwise, this inheritable does a lot of work. Putting this on top of the BT21 Guilmon and then doing some Agunimon shenanigans at the bottom can actually make that 2 memory cheaper overall, which is some really, really insane value. We're going to run 4 copies of BT5 BlackGrowlmon. This just says, as an inheritable, when one of your other Digimon is deleted, this Digimon gains security attack +1. We're going to get some massive value out of that. Being able to swing the 2 checks with the Sec +1, unsuspend 2 more checks, it's certainly stronger than the EX3 Growlmon, and this is the primary level 4 we want in our stack. Speaking of EX3 Growlmon, 3 copies of it is plenty here. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 3k or less. If nothing's deleted, both players trash the top 2. I find myself keeping this in the back more often than not usually promoting out front. The mill effect can come up because we're going to run Crimson Mode Ace. Building up the trash is always good. It's going to help us trash more cards later, and popping Floodgates is also really valuable. More importantly than that, though, to me, when attacking, you can delete one of your other Digimon to have this Digimon gain security attack +1 for the turn. A little bit worse than the BlackGrowlmon because now we need to pop a level 3 to get Sec +1. Granted, ChaosGallantmon can then bring back another level 3, and then we can pop that level 3 to unsuspend. But it's just a little bit worse because you do lose that second level 3 out the combo, and that cuts off a couple of our play routes here. We are going to run 1 copy of the promo Agunimon. When attacking, this Digimon can Digivolve into an AncientGreymon in your hand for a cost of 2, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. If it does, delete this Digimon at the end of turn, and then our inheritables here says when Digivolving this Digimon into an AncientGreymon in your hand, reduce its cost by 2. That won't come up ever, I promise. But that when attacking warp effect is really, really great, especially, like I said, we can get our BT21 Guilmon, Guilmon X on the board, and then we can Digivolve into the Agunimon with the Cerberusmon inheritable. We can actually give this stack rush, go into the Agunimon, swing, for 2, go into the AncientGreymon, and then you'll actually get your 2 memory back off the Guilmon and the Guilmon X, assuming you can delete something on the AncientGreymon when Digivolving triggers. So, very, very powerful combo that you have going there. And then the AncientGreymon will add back a hybrid, as well as play you a Tamer. And playing Tamers is kind of something that's always dragged this deck down, having to take a turn off for Tamer setup. Now we have a way to actually plop some Tamers on the board and get that free value. We are still going to run 2 copies of the BT17 Agunimon. This can digivolve from the hand onto one of your red tamers as if that card's a level 3 red Digimon. This is excellent because it can go on the new BT21 Takato, which is red and purple. And then when digivolving, if Burning Greymon is in this Digimon's sources, or you have a blue or green Digimon or tamer, this Digimon may evo into AncientGreymon for a cost of 3, ignoring its requirements. And if it digivolve, delete this Digimon at the end of turn. Also gives a 2k DP bonus. Sometimes that DP bonus can be really nice in the stack if you have to digivolve on top of this. I really like that this can still evo on top of the Takato for 3 because we do swing the 4 checks very easily. If you get 1 chip damage in there, you're threatening lethal, and the Agunimon can push you over the line, which is great. Now, that blue or green Digimon or Tamer clause might not come up very frequently normally, but we are running the Cerberusmon Werewolf mode package. So this Digimon says when digivolving, play a level 3 blue or purple Digimon card from your trash or from one of your Digimon sources without paying the cost. At the next end of your opponent's turn, return it to the hand. Inheritable says when an effect plays one of your Digimon, return one of your opponent's level 3 to the hand. This card is incredibly important in this deck. It offers us a pivot and some decision-making choices that we can basically do every time we build a stack. So one of those choices we can actually make here is plopping out the level 3, and then if you can't actually clear the board with the ChaosGallantmon that only hits a level 5 or lower, well, you can then digivolve that level 3 into the BT17 Agunimon, potentially be blowing up whatever the opponent's stack is. Assuming it's not clearable by ChaosGallantmon, it should be a level 6 or higher. And if you have the Guilmon and the Guilmon X, and then you go Agunimon, you're effectively paying 4 memory to wipe the opponent's level 6 stack, and that's some great value. And then we're going to be able to threaten aces with this later, or just maintain our position and go into a ChaosGallantmon anyways on the next turn. So really great card in this deck. It also gives us access to blue, which will be important later. 2 copies of the Cerberusmon from BT16. On play when digivolving, you may return a Digimon card with the Dark Animal or Shaman trait from trash to the hand. More importantly than that, though, when an effect plays one of your Digimon, you give something Rush. That's going to enable this promo Agunimon very, very, very well. Being able to play this Guilmon, give it Rush, go Guilmon X, and then get this Agunimon combo down is critical. And then, of course, it can add back your Werewolf modes or your X-Antibodies from the trash to the hand. We are also going to run the 3 copies of Cerberus X. The on-play lets you play level 3 from trash. When digivolving, draw 1, trash 1. If you have a card with Cerberusmon in its name or X-Antibody in your sources, you get the on-play. So as long as this goes over Werewolf mode or Cerberusmon, you get that free level 3. And that when attacking is what we talked about, getting the, by deleting one other Digimon you unsuspend. That's going to combo with the BlackGrowlmon to give us our 4 checks on the ChaosGallantmon. Something super nice about this too is if we do that Agunimon line we talked about with the Cerberusmon Werewolf mode, we can actually on our next turn go into the Cerberus X, play the level 3 back, potentially have this Cerberusmon inheritable live again as well. But you can then go into the ChaosGallantmon and you still have the level 3 set up for your ChaosGallantmon shenanigans, which is fantastic. On to our level 6s here, you can see this is a very toolboxy deck. That's kind of what I love so much about it. We have all kinds of utility in different places. So Hexeblaumon has security attack +1, Ice Clad. When digivolving, trash any 4 sources under your opponent's Digimon. If your opponent has no Digimon sources, return one of their tamers to the bottom of the deck. Also, none of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer sources as this Digimon can suspend. That can be really difficult to get over considering we have this Cerberus into Werewolf mode and we have the Guilmon into Guilmon X. That's 2 additional sources on a regular stack. It can be quite a few sources for your opponent to get past. They're going to have to use removal on this, and you do get to bottom deck a tamer most of the time with this effect. So this is tamer hate, as well as putting up a wall that your opponent has to deal with while we are running a really aggressive package. Also, we have security attack +1, which is fantastic. We can basically just be pressuring down the opponent with two damage swings each turn this guy gets in. We are running the 1 copy of GranKuwagamon Ace. This card is a slot I'm not 100% sold on yet. I've bounced around from GranKuwagamon Ace to Darkdramon Ace to the Gallantmon promo to Calling from the Darkness. I think I am the most pleased with GranKuwagamon Ace though. On play when digivolving, suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Cards this effect suspend can't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. Then delete one of their suspended Tamers. More Tamer hate, which is what I really like about this selection. And when this card is suspended, one of your Digimon gets security attack +1 for the turn. So it leans into that aggro package, giving us another potential check while being Tamer hate. This is also a green card, which does mean that you can, like we talked about, you are threatening the ace if you do the Werewolf mode play, and then next turn you can go into the Cerberusmon X-Antibody, play the level 3, you have the GranKuwagamon Ace that can go on top, and then this play is still live because you have the green on the GranKuwagamon Ace. That is a huge part of why I like this over Darkdramon Ace as well. I think you could also reasonably go a second copy of Hexeblaumon, but I think I need the versatility of the Ace, and we do draw a lot of cards in this deck, so the 1-ofs, I promise you, you're going to see them. I do have the 1 copy of Medieval Gallantmon. I own a copy of the card, so I'm playing it in my favorite deck, obviously. It's just good. It does everything you want it to do. You can't actually evo into this card, so you have to hard slam it, but when this card does work, it does work. 4 copies of our BT5 ChaosGallantmon. When digivolving, delete one of your other Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. And then your turn, when one of your other Digimon is deleted, you may play one level 3 purple Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost. On play, effects don't activate. Being able to pop a level 5, great. It removes anything that's threatening a Blastace. And then we get to float back to level 3 for more gas, going a little bit wide. And then depending on what your board state looks like, you might actually be able to just absolutely snowball into some shenanigans where your second stack gets into a werewolf mode and you're threatening a Agunimon. There's just a whole lot that this card enables and allows you to get into. Lastly, for our level 6 is 2 copies of AncientGreymon for BT17, Security Attack +1. On play when digivolving, delete something with as much or less DP as this Digimon. Then on deletion, return a Tamer card and a hybrid trait Digimon card from trash to hand. Then you may play a Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. So we can return that promo Agunimon and get a free Tamer that is free value, and we love it. This is usually going to be popping a 14k DP or less body. This also feels really nice to digivolve into because depending on what kind of shenanigans you get into, you can plop that level 3 on the board, swing it, you get plus 2k from the Gigimon egg, and then you can evo into this and still pop a 14k target. Level 7s, 2 copies of Guilmon Crimson Mode Ace. You got to be careful with this because you can't digivolve this on top of Hexeblaumon or the GranKuwagamon Ace, but it's going to pop 15k total worth of DP on your opponent's board for every 10 cards in both players' trash the top card of their security stack, which is just fantastic. Great ender for us. 2 copies of Purple Scramble. It is important that we are able to grab back the AncientGreymons, the Agunimons. So this is a good way to put what we want on top of our deck. Also, with the Werewolf modes and with some of the 4-cost Evos in this deck, Purple Scramble is a good way to keep us on tempo and not shelling out extra memory for our cards. 4 copies of Wisdom Training. Again, you got to be a little bit careful because you will with the Guilmon Crimson mode, the promo Agunimon, and the Hexeblaumon, but you're going to reveal top 2, take a purple card. Now I am running 2 copies of the ST16 Matt Ishida, and I want to talk about why, because I know a couple times when I've gone kind of a dark animal ChaosGallantmon engine, people have said that they think BT19 Takato would be better, and I think in this build there's a very specific reason we have to run Matt Ishida, and that's because Werewolf mode costs 4. A lot of the time, you're probably not going to have Cerberusmon to make the Cerberusmon into Werewolf mode play, and if we have just Werewolf mode, we want to make sure our deck is still functional. What Matt Ishida effectively allows is that Werewolf mode is going to cost 4. You are hopefully going to be able to play out your BT21 Guilmon, trash a card off the effect, draw 2, and then tap the mat to keep your turn, and then you can go ahead and threaten the board states we talked about before. BT19 Takato is still really nice. There are upsides to the card. The problem I have with it is that it's not searchable by Wisdom. Sometimes it turns that level 5 pool into bricks. The raid is really nice because it turns ChaosGallantmon into a raid blocker, and you can't actually just evo Agunimon for 3 on top of the Takato, which guarantees that we are always threatening for the hybrid for game because it automatically sets you to 3 and you can swing the 3. But I just think that bricking on those level 5s when you don't have regular Cerberusmon is reason enough for us to run the Matt Ishida in this slot. 3 copies of Takato from BT21 gains you extra memory, which is kind of clutch. We like having more than 3 memory, but this is going to get us there. When any of your Digimon are played or digivolved, by suspending this Tamer until your opponent's turn ends, one of your Digimon with Guilmon, Growlmon, Gallantmon, or Gigimon gains blocker, and then if there's 10 or more cards in both players' trashes, it gets 2k DP. This just turns our ChaosGallantmon into a blocker as well, which is excellent value. And then if we do have enough cards in trash, it also gets plus 2k DP, makes it a 14k blocker. A little bit tricky for some decks to get past. So now that you know what the deck does, what its idea is here with a toolboxy kind of kit, let's look at what a standard board setup looks like and what your routes are as well. Okay, so really standard, easy board setup with this deck. 3 memory, you have a level 5 in the back, you've hit the Cerberusmon, you've got the BlackGrowlmon and the Guilmon in the back, so you promote at 3, and you kind of get to go into your Werewolf mode for 1. And if you have a level 3 setup in trash, putting the level 3 from trash is obviously the best, but if not, you can just suck this Guilmon out from under your sources, and you have the level 3 here. From there, you would obviously, if you have it, you go the Growlmon X, you reveal your top 3, that's great. And from here, you're just kind of threatening a lot of different things. You can either plop down the Agunimon. We have a blue Digimon in play, so now the Agunimon goes into AncientGreymon, and in turn it's going to pop. It's going to pop something on Digivolve, gain a memory off the Guilmon X here, and then the Guilmon underneath will gain you a memory when this dies at the end of turn. If you have a Guilmon X in your main stack too, you get an extra memory there as well, but that's pretty high roll. And then this goes away, and you get to play, one of your 2 tamers, the Mat or the Takato. But if you don't want to do that and you are just kind of chilling here, you can still also threaten to go into your Hexeblaumon potentially, which is fantastic. If you do go the AncientGreymon route, you are threatening to hit your Blastace. And then if you don't hit your Blastace, you just go Cerberusmon X, and then you can play it back the level 3 that you lose. Even if you do go the AncientGreymon, you can play back this level 3 that dies off of the AncientGreymon. So then you get to do this. You get to pitch a card away, draw 2. If you get the Matt Ishida from the AncientGreymon trigger, you get to tap this, gain an extra memory, so you're at 4 memory off of that play already. And then from there, you can go into your ChaosGallantmon, which is awesome. You pop a level 5 or lower. You've already blown up the level 6 stack off of that AncientGreymon, and hopefully if they're floating something, it's smaller than a level 6, so ChaosGallantmon gets the job done there. And then because you've already popped your level 3, which will come back, you can then swing in for your 2 checks, pop this away, unsuspend, 2 more checks. You are sitting real pretty on that play. Otherwise, you can still threaten to bring back the level 3, like you get one of these guys, you have Cerberusmon in your stack, and then you can go into something like your promo Aguni, swing the promo Aguni, and then Agunimon also comes back into this AncientGreymon, and you're sitting on even more value with a Matt Ishida and a Takato. So this deck can really run away if it's unchecked. As long as you kind of read what's going on here and what you need to do, you can hit a lot of really crucial breakpoints on the opponent's deck and get a ton of value out of this. I know it's not exactly what most people want to play when they think of Tribal. It's not anything like Gigimon Tribal. It's not Mill. It is really just kind of abusing the ability to play level 3s with the Dark Animal level 5 set, and then taking our aggro bottom end package and just trying to shove it together into like this utility style deck. But I really like it. I think it's tons of fun. I think you guys should give it a try and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about the deck in the comments. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Thank you to our channel members for supporting this channel. It's people like Langlong, Big Z11, Coffee Deus, and DigiDane who make videos like this possible.